All right, guys. So I hope you guys are doing great. Good morning and happy Monday to you guys. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be solving one-step inequalities using multiplication and division. We've done this before. You've done this before in 8th grade, in 7th grade, and we're just going to retouch on it. Simple rules. So when dealing with inequalities, okay. When dealing with inequalities, suppose I'm going to make this up right here. 5x is greater than or equal to 10. When dealing with inequalities, what's important is when to change the sign, okay? That's important. When will we change the sign? The sign will change when we are either dividing by a negative number, or when we're multiplying by a negative number. These are your only times that we're going to change the sign. If none of these apply, then you just move on and leave the sign the way it is. Okay? So here's some examples we're going to do. Example 1. 5g is less than 10. Okay? Well, what's the opposite? How do I get rid of the 5? I'm simply going to divide by 5, divide by 5. This leaves me g is less than 2. Because 10 divided by 5 is 2. My sign did not change because I didn't divide by a negative. Example number 2. Okay, 2x is less than or equal to 5. I am going to divide by 2, divide by 2. X is less than or equal to, and we don't know what 5 divided by 2 would be a 2.5. Okay, so we'll put 2.5 there. But what's important here, you're not going to have any of those. We're not going to have decimals in your Excel. And what's important here is that my sign stayed the same because I did not divide by a negative. Example number 3. I have x over 3 is less than 7. Whenever we have a fraction, in order to get rid of the denominator, we need to multiply by the denominator. So I multiply by 3, that cancels that out. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So I have x is less than 7 times 3, 21. My sign did not change because I didn't multiply by a negative, so we're okay. Next one. K over 3 is less than or equal to 10. Once again, how do I get rid of a denominator of a fraction so I can leave the variable by itself? I need to multiply by the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 3. That cancels that out. Multiply by 3 over here. So I have K is less than or equal to, and 10 times 3 is 30. Again, my sign did not change because I didn't play with any negative. Over here, we have negative 5x is greater than or equal to 10. I'm going to divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5. I have x, okay? My sign needs to change because I am dividing by a negative. So now I have x is less than or equal to, and then 10 divided by negative 5 is just negative 2. Okay. What's important here is that this sign changed because I'm dividing by a negative 5. Excuse me. So, remember, my sign changes because I am dividing by a negative number. Next example, I have negative 5x is less than or equal to 5. Once again, in order to get rid of the negative 5, I'm going to divide by it. So, divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5. That cancels that out. So I have x less than or equal to, oh shoot, my bad. Because I have a negative, and I screwed up, your teacher screwed up here. Because I have a negative, because I'm dividing by a negative, I need to switch the sign. So it's going to turn to x is greater than or equal to 5 divided by negative 5 is negative 1. There we go. I almost got myself there. Make sure, guys, that's important. I mean, your own teacher almost messed up here. The sign needs to change if we're dividing by a negative. So, next example, we have x over negative 5 is greater than or equal to 10. I need to get rid of the negative 5. In order to get rid of it, I need to multiply by it. So I'm going to multiply by that negative 5. Multiply by it, that cancels that out. And then do to one side, what you do to the other. So this gives me x. Now, my two rules. It's going to change whenever I divide and whenever I multiply by a negative. Here, we are multiplying by a negative. So this sign needs to change. It'll go like this. Now I have 10 times negative 5. That gives me negative 50. And we're good to go. Example number 8. It's probably my last one here. We have g over negative 4 is greater than 4. So I'm going to multiply by negative 4 to get rid of the denominator. And then I got to do the same thing to the other side. So now I have g. Because I multiplied times a negative number, I have to flip my sign. So my sign now flips this way. And now I have 4 times negative 4, which gives me negative 16. This would be your final answer.